We drive over it and alongside it every day, but rarely look. As the natural pass through the hills, this has been the preferred transportation corridor for roads, the canal, railroads, and the expressway for 225 years. And since the 1880s, the Mill Creek has been the preferred location for generations of manufacturing plants. After 2 centuries of abuse and misuse, the Mill Creek will require decades of systematic work to restore it as a positive natural feature. Welcome back. Efforts to restore the Mill Creek have been underway since the early 1990s. In 1993, a report initiated by the Hamilton County Environmental Action Committee called for the Mill Creek to be transformed from a civic embarrassment to a community asset. Progress has been made, mostly by grassroots organizations like the Mill Creek Watershed Council of Communities. I am joined this morning by Jennifer Eismeyer, the Executive Director of the Council. Jennifer, welcome to Newsmakers.
Thank you, Dan.
And I've always lived close to the creek as an adult. In Northside, College Hill, Finningtown. I drive in every day. I've had a chance to Stan Hedin, who wrote what I still think is the best book on the Mill Creek.
Definitive book on the Mill Creek.
The definitive book on the Mill Creek. Stan's a professor, a retired professor at Xavier University, a great guy. And so I've always been in love with the story here. So what would you say right now is the condition of the Mill Creek and the Mill Creek Valley?
It's improving, but it has a long way to go. It's an asset. The Mill Creek is absolutely an asset to Greater Cincinnati. It's certainly the water resource that built Cincinnati, and it has the potential to be an asset that makes Cincinnati a competitive urban center to live and work well into the future. But we have a long way to go.
You know, when you're talking about an asset, and I was trying to hint at this, we think of the Ohio River. Everybody accepts the Ohio River drove the early economic development of the city. But in many ways, the Mill Creek has driven it all along. I mean, with transportation and industry. What's the future of the Mill Creek? Besides, it's still going to be a transportation corridor. It's still going to be a manufacturing corridor. But what is the future of the Mill Creek? What can you imagine it being?
I can see it being the kind of waterway that you see when you're driving, to and from work, or let's say you're actually bicycling to and from work along a greenway trail on the Mill Creek. On the weekends, you can hop on your bike, leave your house, and you can ride upstream and go to a streamside park. For businesses, it's the kind of water resource that offers abundant water, and that's very important.
And it's not only the water that you see in the creek, it's the water in the aquifer that's under that creek.
The Mill Creek Aquifer is part of a sole source aquifer in southwestern Ohio. It has very high water quality. It's an outstanding water resource. We're very fortunate. There are actually 3 communities in the Mill Creek watershed that take their drinking water supply from the Mill Creek Aquifer. I live in one of those communities.
In Wyoming?
That's right.
Okay. You know, people may think, oh, the Mill Creek itself is so polluted, so terrible that there's no nature there anymore. One of the photographs you sent me is of a turtle, which I thought we'd just take a look at this guy.
Sure. That's actually a mama.
Who is that turtle?
So that's a soft-shell turtle. That's a very desirable species of turtle. That's a mama. She was, in fact, laying eggs that day. That is at Twin Creek Preserve, which is a stream restoration project in Sharonville. It's located, you can actually see it from 275. It's immediately adjacent to Champion Window. And we took that area, the Watershed Council worked with the City of Sharonville, the Metropolitan Sewer District, Butler County Water and Sewer, and we did stream restoration and wetland construction. And what we're seeing is outstanding habitat. So we have really a lot of desirable terrestrial organisms like the turtle and fish and bugs, lots of improvement.
You know, there have been a lot of individuals with your organization and related organizations who've been out there. It's another photograph of someone out there in their canoe literally cleaning up in a very basic way the Mill Creek, and we can bring that up. But that's something that needs to be done. There we go. Who is this?
This is John Hunter. He is on the Watershed Council board. He's a very fine man. He's the oldest Mill Creek Yacht Club, or it's the Mill Creek Yacht Club.
Yes, the Mill Creek Yacht Club, which we also have their logo.
Yes.
What the heck is the Mill Creek Yacht Club?
So the Mill Creek Yacht Club is kind of the brainchild of a native son, Bruce Kaler, who works at OKI. He decided 20 years ago, everyone was talking about the Mill Creek, but no one was really exploring it and understanding it for real. And so he got out there in his canoe and started paddling. Since then, he has taken over 450 people out on the Mill Creek on over 80 float trips. John Hunter is the oldest Mill Creek Yacht Clubber.
And there's a paddle coming up on August 3rd that we're going to tell people how to get to. Now, we can take people like that who are taking tires out and doing that kind of real big, but it's bigger than that, the cleanup of the Mill Creek. And one of the most exciting things is working with MSD, and this is something that I have focused on this show, like the Lick Run project, and we've got some video of what they're proposing, where they're going to daylight the stream, bring it out of the sewers, and for both environmental reasons and also for beautification of that community. This is the sort of thing that's really going to transform.
You're right. It's very exciting. It's huge work. The Mill Creek and its tributaries, I mean, the total stream length is quite large, and so Mill Creek is focusing on several large sub-watersheds, and Lick Run is one of the most exciting. It's also drawing national attention for their watershed approach to taking a piped waterway that has really been assaulted by urban development over time, and they're really transforming it.
And without that kind of fundamental structural change in what we're dumping, because right now the combined sewer overflows in that particular situation, it's combined sewer overflow number 5, which is the worst on the lower Mill Creek. Without that kind of huge governmental investment, you can pull all the tires out that you want, and it just isn't going to make the same impact, right?
It's true. One of the big benefits of the Mill Creek Yacht Club is that it brings people to the water who might not otherwise have an opportunity to see it. So there are kind of a couple different things that we try to do. The big projects like the MSD project, you know, as ODOT is working through the valley, there's opportunity for these very large structural changes that you're talking about, real changes in infrastructure that position Cincinnati well as we're making infrastructure improvements and then also taking care of our water resources.
Any of us who either drive Interstate 75 on a regular basis or perhaps now avoid Interstate 75 on a regular basis because of the ODOT and all the construction. Have they, in this new construction, have they been sensitive to the impact of what they're doing on the Mill Creek in any way different than it would have been, say, 40 years ago, 50 years ago?
I can't speak to ODOT's approach or any Department of Transportation's approach, you know, in the past, right. But I will say that ODOT they're limited in their right-of-way when they're along Mill Creek, but they are as sensitive as they can be within their right-of-way. Okay.
One of the things is to bring people back along the edge, as you were saying. Hike bike trails, their pieces are being put in place. What do you see as important about that? Why is it important to get people hiking and biking along that stream?
Because water is sense of place. The Mill Creek makes Cincinnati a unique place to live. We have abundant water, and so that stream is part of what makes, you know, this valley, Cincinnati, what it is. And it's really everything. It's quality of life, it's history and culture, it's sense of place.
You know, and if people spend more time there, they'll care more, they'll understand more.
Right.
When I go out and bike along the Little Miami Trail, you know, to think about the transformation of that urban stream. Now, the Mill Creek's right in the middle of the urban corridor, so I'm not sure it's going to ever be exactly like that. No. I don't think that's what we're going for.
No.
But making it this magnet that people want to be by is very important with attracting people here, too.
It's true. It's true. I mean, we want employers to be able to attract young professionals, the best talent, and the Mill Creek is part of what makes Cincinnati a great place to live.
One of the things I have to show is that fish,
Oh,
because
fish.
if people, I'm sure people have seen it out there
Yes.
and don't know about it. Very quickly, we're almost out of time. What about the happy fish?
Every
Simon?
time you see a happy fish, you have just crossed over the Mill Creek or a tributary. So look for that happy fish.
And don't dump things that you shouldn't be dumping, right?
Yes.
Okay. If you want more information about the work of the Mill Creek Watershed Council, go to their website millcreekwatershed.org, or call the office at 513-563-8800. And there's the Paddle on the Mill Creek August 3rd I was telling you about. You can get information there. Or Mill Creek Recreation on September the 28th. Great organization, lots of chances for volunteers.